Hello, my loves. So I'm doing a part 2 to the how to be the death meme in Truth or Dare. We left off with Olivia and Marky. Yeah, I think it's Marky. Having to break Olivia's hand and Olivia insulting her dead father to her face. This is not a movie I have watched, but now I'm interested and I gotta find out where I can watch this movie, like what I can find it on, because it's pretty freaking interesting.
Breaking Olivia's hand, but unknowingly saving her own life as everyone else runs away terrified. Okay, Marky should have really picked Truth. Even though she didn't believe what was going on, she had no way of knowing what the dare was going to be. Now we know that the game can actually make you hurt your friends, and if you refuse, then you'll be killed. So it's incredibly important that they all start making the right decisions if they want to survive. Since Marky got the message on her phone, they should try calling the number that came from it to see what they can find out. It's probably a dead end, but in a situation like this, you need to explore any option that you've got. Also, now we officially know that the game is challenging everyone in order that there are ratings to improve. Which means that Brad here is going to be up next. Knowing this, he can at least mentally prepare himself for what's about to happen and should isolate himself from anyone who he doesn't want to hurt, just in case. When the game eventually makes him take his challenge, he should obviously pick Truth and answer the questions honestly. It might be embarrassing, but at least that way, he'll be able to survive this turn without having to physically hurt anyone in the process, like what happened with Marky. Lucas and Brad take their friend to the hospital, and while they're waiting, Brad here decides to get something from the vending machine. While he's distracted, this dead lady gets up from her bed and grabs him by the shoulders, demanding that he make his choice. Terrified, Brad chooses the truth. And that's when his police officer father shows up, his face twisting into the smile as the game makes him take his turn. Back in the lobby, he tells his friends that the game forced him to come out, to respond. Instead of being upset, he actually feels great about what happened. But they realize that if
come out is in you're gay, or come out is in you killed someone.
Brad texts his friend, trying to warn him that the game is real, but he brushes it off and goes into his interview for med school. The meeting goes perfectly, and his friends arrive just as he's finishing up. But before they get a chance to warn him, the dean says that he forgot his bag, so he goes back into her office to grab it. As soon as his back is turned, the woman locks the door, asking him truth or dare. Thinking that it's a prank by his friends, Tyson chooses the truth, and the woman asks him how long he's been selling fake prescriptions. Lying, he says that he doesn't, but the game possesses him before he can leave, forcing him to pull out his lucky pen and jam it directly into his eyeball, before turning around and slamming his head into the wall and dropping to the floor dead. Okay, it looks like Tyson here just listened to his friends. They tried their best to warn him, but he was fully convinced that it was all a big joke, and too focused on his interview to really care, since he wouldn't answer the phone. What they could have done here is called the dean's office and pretended to be her close relative, saying that you have a personal family emergency and need to speak with her right away. That way, she would have had to stop the interview and reschedule for another time, which would have given the others a chance to get Tyson before it was too late, even though he picked the truth. Should have been the safe bet. Game still killed him off when he chose to lie. So going forward, they'll know that they really have no choice except to answer every question honestly and keep working on a way to get out of the game before they all end up like Tyson and Ron. Back at the house, Penelope here realizes that her turn is next, and Lucas says that they should always pick truth and answer honestly until they can figure out how to end the game. The girl's been drinking her feelings away after the death of her boyfriend, so Marky brings her up to bed while the others decide to do some research into that guy Carter to see what they can learn. Olivia tries searching for him on Facebook, but can't get any leads. So Marky grabs her laptop and starts with a broad search of Mexico Truth or Dare. After scrolling through the results, she eventually lands on a news report about how a student named Giselle attacked a woman at a gas station. It's the same girl from earlier, and they watch as the cashier asks her for cash or credit, but she responds Dare before grabbing some lighter fluid and setting the woman on fire. The girl is still wanted by the police, and Olivia quickly finds her profile on Facebook, where she sees pictures of her and Carter together on a trip just like theirs. He isn't tagged in anything, So they decide to make a fake account and message her to see if they can get her to explain what's going on. Olivia starts typing out a message, but Marky says that it isn't convincing enough to get a response, taking the laptop and threatening her family unless she answers back, and explaining that if they want to live, they need to start doing whatever it takes to survive. Meanwhile, upstairs, Penelope starts to feel sick and goes to clean up in the sink, but suddenly, her reflection stands up on its own and smiles back at her, telling her that it's time to make her choice. She tries to pick the truth, but her reflection won't allow it, mysteriously saying that isn't how the game works. While the others are waiting for the girls to write back, Olivia and Marky start arguing about whose fault the whole thing is. Furious, Marky storms out of the house, but quickly returns and tells them all to come outside right away. Looking up, they see Penelope holding some vodka and standing out on the roof, shouting that the game wouldn't let her pick truth and dared her to walk along the edge until she finishes the bottle. Lucas here decides to run up to the roof to spot her while the others watch from the ground. Thinking quickly, Olivia tells Marky and Brad to grab something soft to catch her with if she falls, and following her around, clearing any dangerous objects out of her path. Okay, this is insane. This girl was already having the worst night of her life, and now she's been forced into a dare that can turn deadly at any second. She's got her challenge, and if she fails or anyone interferes, that will mean certain death. So, what's her best strategy for survival? They're off to a good start by having Brad and Mark grab something for her to land on. But while Lucas is up on the roof, he can also try giving her a rope or a thick bed sheet to hold on to while he ties the other end around his waist. As long as he doesn't physically touch her, then that shouldn't count as cheater. Now, she still has to finish the bottle. She can take the long and careful approach, gradually finishing it over the span of several hours, and taking every step as carefully as she can. Alternatively, Penelope here could make her way to the point of the roof that seems like either the closest to the ground or the safest landing point, and with others ready to catch her down below, just hold her nose and Shanice that whole thing in one nasty gulp. This would reduce the time when she's up there, and lessen the chances of it going horribly wrong. It's never a good idea to chuck booze that way, but when it's a matter of life or death, to do whatever it takes to survive. Also, while she's finishing the challenge, someone should call the fire department and tell them that their friend is stuck on the roof and needs help. They'll get there fast and catch her if she falls, and have the skills to save her life if she gets injured or becomes sick from drinking too much. Her friends will have to time it just right, but as long as they can make sure that they don't call until she's almost finished with the challenge, then they shouldn't get there too early and risk having them interfere.
I got you. Guess you up for the win. I got you. We a 10 out of 10. I got you. Best friend to the end. I got you. I got you. Hey, it's your
My controller's being weird. No, cooperate.
With CeraVe foaming cleanser.
Prueba las nuevas y Relax Flavors y las nuevas aromáticas para el doble de frescura. If you've ever wanted to get behind the wheel of an RV, head to General RV July 24th through the 28th during the Thor Motor Coach Ride, Drive, and Save Sale. And get a free gift when you test drive any Thor Motor Coach. Plus, up to 40% off the
getting
access,
shit
Quantum,
from
Sanctuary,
the
and
shit
more.
from the movie. I
Never
almost
before seen
threw
deals on
up.
popular models.
Great,
Test drive
lovely.
the Thor and take advantage of never before seen factory authorized prices. Only at General RV. Coming soon to a theater near you. Out of beats of fish like a truth. All the guts, all the blood, all the screams, plus nasty extras. Out of beats Patreon. 2 times the shock, 2 times the terror, 2 times the subscription limits. Have a damn good day, and don't be dicks about it. Both of them bid you welcome to pre-sales for Foolish official How to Beat merchandise, and support the evil scientists behind the How to Beat videos. It only gets better. Subscribers are invited to the X-rated party. Ad-free and uncensored videos to repulsive for all audiences are available on demand. How to Beat's Patreon. In space, no one can scream. Everyone can see How to Beat's Patreon. Join us if you can.
It's not letting me do anything.
Holding it under her while she slowly makes her way around the edge. But that's when they run into this metal fence full of spikes blocking the way. Olivia tries to open the gate, but it's locked shut. So she comes up with a new plan and runs back inside to grab her car keys. Meanwhile, Brad and Marky here try covering the fence with the mattress, but the spikes immediately poke through, so there's nothing they can do. Just then, Olivia comes speeding down the alley and rams into the gate, breaking it down just as Penelope finishes the bottle and tumbles off the roof. The others manage to throw the mattress under her just in time, and luckily, the girl actually survives. It was a close call, but they aren't safe just yet, and while they're catching their breath, Olivia gets a message back from that girl, Giselle. Jumping in the car, the group rushes over to meet up with her at this empty alleyway. They ask her how she knows Carter, but the girl seems confused until they tell her that he's the one who brought them into the game. Giselle explains that she and her friends got extremely drunk while on a trip to Mexico and decided to play a game of Truth or Dare in the abandoned church. This kid started smashing the place up, and when they got home, the game just kept going, killing all of her friends off one by one. Lucas asks her why it wouldn't let Penelope choose the truth, and she tells them that it's because of the rules that they played with. 2 truths and a dare, meaning that if 2 people pick truth in a row, then the next person is forced to take a dare. It turns out that Carter was dared to find a new group to play, and he had to bring them into the church to get everything started. The girl thought that once new people were involved, she'd be off the hook, but unfortunately, she's still in the game. That's when the others realize that it must be her turn, so she admits that the game dared her to kill Olivia. Suddenly, the girl pulls out a revolver and aims it at her chest, but Penelope dives in front of the bullet, and the guys take Giselle to the ground. Unable to finish her dare, the game takes over, and she turns the weapon on herself. Okay, now we know why they can't just pick truth every time. The game may have a 2 truths and a dare rule, but nothing says that the game itself is the only one who can be giving out the challenges. Since the game is ordered according to the picture, we always know whose turn is coming up next. So, after 2 people pick truth, it might be possible to quickly give the next person in line a lane. Safety, before the game has a chance to butt in. As long as they do the challenge, then this should count as a completed turn according to the rules, resetting the cycle so that the next 2 people on deck get to pick truth. Also, if daring other players does work, then there's a chance that you could defeat the game according to its own logic.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. If you dared someone to stop playing the game, what would happen? This could go one of 2 ways. Either you'll be home free, or you'll be instantly killed for not playing. Since it's such a long shot, and there's a good chance that it'll backfire, I'd let someone else do it first, just to see what happens. But you never know until you try. Finally, now that they know that the game is directly related to the church, they should do some research into the building to try and learn anything that might eventually help them get out of this. Time's running out, and they're dropping fast, so they need to act quickly if any of them are going to survive. While they're looking over evidence back at the house, Olivia runs upstairs to grab her charger, but suddenly, the homeless guy who she helped just a few days ago jumps out and grabs her by the shoulders. It's her turn, and now she has to make her choice. Back downstairs, Lucas finds an article about a massacre at the church in Mexico, reading that there was only one survivor, a woman named Inez. Just then, they hear Olivia scream from upstairs and rush to find out what's going on. As soon as they burst into the room, the homeless man snaps out of it and runs out of the house with Lucas chasing after him. Olivia here admits that she chose the dare so that her friends wouldn't have to, and if she wants to survive, she has to sleep with Lucas. Furious, Marky storms out of the house, leaving her friend to follow through on her challenge. Lucas asks her why she wouldn't pick the truth, and Olivia confesses that she's been hiding a terrible secret from Marky, and is afraid that the game will make her say it if she does. While they're sleeping together, Olivia becomes possessed by the game and starts to choke Lucas, telling him to make his choice. He picks truth and is forced to admit that although he has feelings for her, he's truly in love with Marky. Olivia tries to call her friend to warn her turn is coming up. The girl ignores it and starts watching old memories of her dad instead. Suddenly, he starts talking to her through the screen, telling her that it's time to pick. She chooses the truth, and he asks her why she still has the gun that he used to take his own life. Horrified, she admits that sometimes she thinks about using it.
Alright, so this is unfortunately where I'm ending it.
Lucas and Olivia drive to Mexico.
Alright.
The woman They arrive at this
So,
trailer.
yeah, drink some water, eat something, and get some sleep.
Although
Bye.
they won't be able